During the Obama administration, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was a pretty powerful watchdog when it came to big banks and corporations. In fact, the CFPB returned over $12 billion to consumers who were wronged by some of these big banks and corporations. But unfortunately, when Trump came into office, he decided to help dismantle the CFPB, and he did so with the help of Mick Mulvaney. Now, I give you all of this because prior to Trump coming to office, there was an investigation done by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau looking into various financial instruments that are offered to college students by some of these big banks. And that report had essentially been brushed under the rug by the Trump administration. The report was conducted back in 2016, and the Trump administration did not make it public. And through a Freedom of Information Act, Politico was able to get its hands on that report, and we now know that Wells Fargo was charging disproportionately high fees to college students. And we're gonna give you the details of what that report indicated. So analysis examined the fees associated with debit cards and other financial products provided by 14 companies through agreements with more than 500 colleges across the country. Wells Fargo provided roughly 1/4 of those accounts, but the bank collected more than half of all fees paid by students. The bank's average annual fee per account was nearly $50, and that was actually the highest of any provider. So they're going in, they're making deals with these colleges, which then promote these debit cards for their students. And then Wells Fargo charges these insanely high fees to these college students, who, by the way, are gonna have to deal with an insane amount of student loan debt. So the report found that more than 1.3 million college students using college-sponsored debit cards or other products collectively paid $27.6 million in fees during the 2016 and 2017 school year. Now that's not all Wells Fargo, but again, Wells Fargo collected half of those fees. That's insane. So, and I've said insane a lot during this story, but that's how I feel. Now, the CFPB report also questioned the agreements under which financial services providers pay colleges to promote their products on campus. It found that students ended up paying 3 times more in average fees when their bank or account provider had paid the college.
I actually think that's one of the most egregious parts of the story, and it goes to what we talk about all the time, financial incentives. So we often talk about it in terms of politics. So when banks like Wells Fargo, how's that for a Freudian slip? That makes a lot of sense, right? Give money to politicians, and then the politicians help protect them. For example, Donald Trump, the swamp monster, protecting Wells Fargo to make sure that you guys don't find out how much they've been ripping you off, right? So that's an incentive they get. Hey, I got campaign contributions, so I'm gonna make sure that they can keep robbing you, right? In this case, they also go to the colleges and go, here, let's pay you. Let's cut you in on the action. And then all of a sudden, hey, look at that. Students wind up paying 3 times as much in the colleges where they were financially participating with the banks.
Mm-hmm.
People go, as Harvard professor Larry Lessig says, they lean to the green, okay? And that's exactly what's happening here. By the way, Lessig's podcast will also be in the TYT network, and so you should check that out. We launched Pitchfork Economics with Nick Hanauer today. You will love that. Anna's podcast on there, No Filter, tyt.com/podcast. But check those out. They make great economic points, and unfortunately, these colleges are working with these banks, and again, it's not bad people. I doubt that those college administrators realize that their schools are allowing those banks to charge 3 times as much. It's just the natural invisible hand of the market, as Adam Smith put it, where they lean to the green.
Yes, and look, more importantly, this is the reason why we need a powerful watchdog, an organization that looks out for consumers, and that is what the CFPB did prior to Trump dismantling it with the help of Mick Mulvaney. I mean, Mick Mulvaney's one of Mick Mulvaney's biggest campaign contributors happened to be the payday lending industry, right? And so what did he do as soon as he was the temporary head of the CFPB? He got rid of the rules and regulations and the lawsuits that were attempting to hold those payday lenders accountable. They had defrauded our vets, but Mick Mulvaney doesn't care. And so that's really the point of this story. I mean, Wells Fargo is gonna Wells Fargo. And so we need the government to protect the consumers. And Trump has no interest in that. Mick Mulvaney has no interest in that. Kathy Kraninger, the new acting head of the CFPB, who has no experience holding big banks and corporations accountable, she has no interest in doing any of that. And so this is something to keep in mind every time Trump and his goons claim that they're draining the swamp. They are the swamp.
Okay, look, Wells Fargo is particularly toxic. I mean, my God, how many scandals back to back to back can you have? And it's obvious the culture comes from the top down. Just rip them off. Whatever you do, grab the clients and then rip them off. And so I know a lot of people want to get their money out, and you should. But if you move it from one giant bank to another one, it doesn't help you much. Now, I'm going to tell you ahead of time, look, one of our sponsors is Aspiration, but that is a progressive bank. You want to find another progressive institution? Fine. You want to find something else? Fine. Okay, but I'm telling you right now, just move your money out. You got to get it out. They put your money into fossil fuels, into for-profit prisons. It's toxic, and they rip you off. So I think you should go to aspiration.com/TYT, but of course, always do your own research, do whatever you're comfortable with, but get it into a progressive institution that's business model is not to take advantage of you, but to actually set up win-wins where you win and everybody wins. And this old model of banking is just gross. Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.